Okay, let's do some questions on property. Question number 5. It says, among which of the following related parties are losses from sales and exchanges not recognized for tax purposes? Okay, earlier we drew, there's me, there's my parents, there's my kid, there's my bro. Those are not allowed. My bro's kid is a nephew, yes. Uncle, yes. Cousin, yes, because they're not considered related parties. Mother-in-law, daughter-in-law, uncle and nephew, brother and sister, ancestors, lineal descendants, and in-laws. In-laws, no. So that gets rid of A and D. Uncle and nephew, no. Brother and sister, yes. So what does that mean? It means they are related, which means gains are taxed, losses are not deductible. Number 6. Last sentence first. What amount of gain from the sale of the stock to the third party should Martin report in their income tax return? How much gain? In X3, Faye sold 100 shares of Jimco stock to her son, Martin, for $11,000. Faye had paid $15 for the stock in X0. Subsequently, in X3, Martin sold the stock to an unrelated party for $16. What amount of gain from the sale of the stock to the third party should Martin report on their X3 income tax return? All right. So what's happening is, let's look at this, and we'll draw it out. And this is sale to a related party. We've got, Faye had paid 15. So carryover basis was 15. Fair market value is 11. I'm sorry, fair market value is, Faye sold 100 shares of Jimco stock to her son, Martin, for 11. Faye had paid 15 for the stock. Subsequently, oh, I see. Okay, then Martin sold the stock to an unrelated party for 16. What amount of gain? Okay, so she had paid 15 for the stock. We don't know much else. She paid 15 for the stock. Martin, she sold it to her son for 11. Martin then sold it for 16. So what do we know? We know that that is going to be a $1,000 gain. If instead she sold it, and let's say the fair market value at the time was 11, he sold it for this, then that would be a loss. All right, but she paid 15, boom, therefore we're going to have $1,000. 7, 8, and 9 are based on the following data. On March 1st, Lois learned that she was bequeathed 1,000 shares of Extra Corp common stock under the will of her uncle Pat. Now, what does this mean? Bequeathed means, hey, somebody died. They kicked the bucket. They're 86th. History. Will be history. Name that movie. Wizard of Oz. Pat had paid $5,000 for the stock in XO. Fair market value of the stock on March 1st, X3, the date of their death, was $8,000 and had gone up to $11,000 6 months later. The executor of the estate elected the AVD for estate tax purposes. Lois sold the stock for $9,000 on May 1st, the date the executor distributed the stock to her. All right, so we've got to kind of figure this out here. Let's draw a little timeline and see what's going on. Here's our timeline. So this person had paid $5,000 for the stock many years ago. Then, on fair market value of the stock on March 1st, the date of Pat's death. So on March 1st, the guy died. It was worth $8,000. Then 6 months later, 6 and 3 is 9/1. That's the AVD. The stock was worth 11. However, now it says normally, right, we learned this in estate, normally you use this value, the date of death. However, they decided to use the AVD 6 months later, which is this. However, they distributed it here on 5/1 when the value was 9. So normally you use this, unless they file an election, then you use this, unless they distribute it before. If they choose this, you use this. What happens? Then the value's 9. They sell it for 9. No gain or loss. Remember that this is all inherited. If it's inherited, inherited is always fair market value. Inherited is always what? Long term. So how much should Lois include in her individual tax return for the inheritance of the 1,000 shares when she received the estate? Not taxable, because remember, it's not taxable because it was taxed when the guy's estate, when he died. So I get it tax-free. What basis for gain should they use? They would use the 9,000 if there were a gain. And they should treat the 1,000 shares as what? A long-term capital asset. Answer D. So 7 is 0, 8 is C, 9,009 is D. Good questions.